calling this meeting to order.
How do I get your mic?
Oh. So we are going to move on to agenda item number 1, comments and question from district resident. Be mindful that you are subject to a 3-minute limit. And Carol, if you can come forth.
Well, good evening, folks. I'm Carol Norrell. You haven't seen my face in a while, but I've been attending board meetings every week online. And so it's quite nice to sit in the comfort of my chair and take my notes there. But I have a few things tonight, nothing earth-shattering in the city hall. Yes, I have announced my candidacy for the board, but I was trying to make a suggestion, perhaps, or consideration that y'all might think about. Y'all heard that anyway, right? But truthfully, I was just going to make a suggestion, and that's all, that our attorney position on the agenda is always very far down, and we seem to be running a race toward the end to get things done. And I'm going to make a suggestion that we might move him up, maybe give that some thought, not maybe whether you do tonight or not, but I would suggest that you possibly consider putting him in before, before you get down to new business or old, somewhere in there. I think he is important enough to even come after the engineer or the general manager's report. But anyway, that's just a thought to think about, so that we can hear what he has to say, and perhaps y'all have time to talk about it a little bit. That another thing that has been brought to my attention in my neighborhood is that in the past weeks, several of my neighbors across the street had some, I'll use the generic term, vandalism take place. And they, whoever they were, came through taking all the small potted plants that they could load up, and that was quite a lot, so they must have had a vehicle with them. And those things that were large on the porches that they couldn't get, they broke, and then uprooted plants and took those as well. The irony or the bewilderment on my part is that my Ring camera photo thing sees all 3 of them. And I see very well through mine. And I went through all my review, saw nothing. And so I talked to some neighbors on both sides of the street, and they all had the same thing that happened, nothing on their cameras. So after that, I received a notice from someone that was about a device, a jamming device that is available, and when it is turned on, it interferes with the functionality of your Ring doorbell camera. They are emitting radio frequency signals that block or disrupt the communications between your camera and its receiver, rendering it temporarily non-functional, etc. The article goes on from there. But one of the ladies, I'm through, so I guess you got it, but I'm concerned. And so perhaps that's something you all may want to look into or think about as you think about farther down in terms of what is care in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy Martinez.
Hello, good evening. My name is Wendy Martinez. I do not live in this district. I live in a neighboring MUD district, the Fern Bluff MUD. I understand MUD boards have no oversight, and it's up to the taxpayers to hold our local officials accountable. Therefore, I follow the dealings of local MUD districts. I'm here today because I've been watching what has been unfolding in your MUD district for several months, and frankly, it's appalling. In June, Director Jones, Director Hanoi, and Director Kelly voted to remove Director Fobb from the Invoices Committee and remove her from her position as president of the board. This was done because Director Fobb asked the bookkeeper to reconcile payments that were issued to Director Hanoi. Her reason for this request was caused by several discrepancies she found with Director Hanoi's payments. He was overpaid on several occasions as well as underpaid. Reconciliation is a basic accounting procedure that should be done regularly to all accounts, especially when mistakes are found. She did not ask the bookkeeper to audit the payments. She simply asked her to reconcile and review the payments to ensure any discrepancies were rectified. Nevertheless, Director Jones and Director Hanoi had a big problem with that request and accused Director Fobb of going behind the board's back and making decisions on behalf of the board. Director Kelly, Director Jones, and Director Hanoi voted in favor of removing Director Fobb from the Invoices Committee and her position as president of the board for daring to ask the bookkeeper to do her job. However, somehow Director Hanoi can sit on the Deed Restriction Committee and become president of the board despite him admitting to violating his own deed restrictions by owning chickens. It appears the rules only apply to some and not all residents of this district. You all have an obligation to the taxpayers of this district to abide by the rules you enforce and handle their tax dollars with care. After all, the decisions you make affect their pockets and their properties. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Accountant's report.
Consent agenda, sir.
Consent agenda, including approval of minutes 17 of July 2024.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move that we approve the minutes of July 17th, 2024, as they appear in the board packet tonight.
Okay, we have a second. Need any discussion on that item? Beth? David? Okay. All right, so let's vote. All in favor? All right, moving on to item 3, accountant's report.
Good afternoon, board. Can you hear me? This is Kara.
Yes.
Thank you. If you guys would look at my report, please, and turn past the cover page, you will see on page 2 a summary of the funds. This, of course, has been updated, but not many changes since last month. If you will see pages 3 and 4, you will see the cash flow for Newfirst. We started the month with about $7,900. And we had a transfer from tax pool of $1,024,187.27. Okay, something's not right. We're showing total receipt of $103,227.76. I think it was a small maintenance tax transfer we did not get from this report. We did have you guys write and approve the check number 1271 at last month's meeting, but we are showing it on this month's report. I'm also presenting checks number 1272 to 1323 for your approval tonight. There are the one that's a little bit out of the ordinary is there's a new vendor, Ranger Guard, for road patrol. That's check number 1289 for $945. And then moving on. Also, I wanted to let you know that I have been in touch with your engineer about check number 1285, the pay estimate number 4 on the hatch lift station repairs. He said that there are a few items on the punch list. And so while we're asking for your signature on that check tonight, we will not release that until we have confirmed with your engineer that every item has been taken care of. You will see your cash flow for your central bank operator account on page 5, a beginning balance of $125,176.86 with accounts receivable of $63,182.92, a service charge of $5 for a total ending balance of $188,354.78. Your cash flow for your cadence checking is on page 6. Beginning balance $9,114.62 with receipts of $159,181.73. You can see under your disbursements the payroll submitted at your last meeting, your ADP payroll taxes and some little T-Tech bill returns, and then your ADP for your security officers, and then a $156,000 transfer to tax pool for total disbursements of $158,492.87. Leaving that balance at $98,03.48. Your cash flow for Cadence Bank reservations started with $10,396.38. We had a small check for a facility rental of $1,086.32. And you can see under your disbursements, a gateway fee, your EPX fee, and a facility rental refund for total disbursements of $1,138, leaving you with a balance of $10,344.70. Your Cadence Bank Manager's account is on page 8. There was no activity in that account this month. Your actual versus budget for July is on pages 9 and 10. As I look at this again, it appears that the recap has not yet been entered. So I probably need to send you an updated report. I would like to answer any questions you have about my report. I am prepared to talk about the budget, and that is in a separate document. I will wait for the board's direction.
All right, so let me pull up here. Should we go ahead and jump and talk about the budget? Just kind of want to see. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. If you guys will turn to the proposed budget that we worked on with your budget committee and your operator on Monday. This was updated and finalized yesterday and added to your, the Google Drive then.
Kara,
You can see,
Kara,
yes?
please clarify that. I'm on the budget committee and I didn't work with you on Monday.
I emailed Cole and Tammy and was under the impression that Hanoi and Beth are on the budget committee.
That would be incorrect.
Interesting.
I'm trying to pull it up to see.
Now, Hanoi certainly knows because he asked me last month if I'd done anything
Can you
about it.
let him, he's looking.
I see something in the minutes, I think, because I think I asked about it as well, saying that Director Fawlers removed the June board meeting, Billing and Invoice Committee.
No.
Oh, that's the Billing and Invoice, not the Budget
Right.
Committee. Okay, so then that's my mistake for saying Billing and Invoice Committee.
You
So
would
I'll-
think that the people in the committee would know who the
Follow
committee
my
members
sword.
are, right? You think that, I guess.
Well, I guess for most districts we deal with, it's called the Finance Committee, and they handle all of that, so.
I'll take full responsibility there.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean-
I'll easily follow my sword for that.
We
There's a lot of
misunderstood, and we
committees.
thought it was changed for the Budget Committee. We did meet for 2 hours on Monday and did review, so all board members did receive a copy of the preliminary budget last week, I think on like the 14th, and so we held a meeting Monday afternoon and met for 2 hours and reviewed and went over the input also from your engineer, which included information from the 5-year cash flow, projections for capital expenditures. And so okay, is that good? Can everyone hear me now, or I guess is it?
That's just for
It's
the
just for-
recording.
Okay, just
Is
for
it
recording
in?
purposes, okay. So, we met with the committee members, and we thought we had clarified that. I apologize if there was a miscommunication there. So we met with the committee, we discussed it, we discussed the input from the engineer, and put this information together. So this is a preliminary budget. The budget doesn't have to be adopted until September. Your fiscal year end is September 30th. So I don't know how we want to proceed and go forward with this. This is the current work that we're at, but we're not by any means saying this is what we have to adopt tonight.
I'd probably recommend, since I'm the one that made the mistake, allowing Linda the opportunity to get with the budget. Hanoi, you're also the other member of the budget committee, with you two getting together and going over the budget, knowing that we still have a month before you need to adopt. Also, you can amend your budget at any time after the adoption date. So
Absolutely.
if you don't settle on the exact budget that you want next month, but you still need to adopt, you can have a subsequent meeting and re-adopt at the October meeting, should you need to. But because that was my mistake on getting the committees confused with bills and invoices, I would probably say I'd recommend giving Linda an opportunity to get with you and go over everything again.
Well, I did, I am the one who put this budget in the board packet because it was sent to the entire board.
It's a different one, it's not the one that you put in there.
Well, isn't that special? So I have spent an entire half a day
Your comments are still there.
monitor, this isn't the one that they came up with or not?
It
Yes?
is, so you had added one on Monday, I believe, and they had provided me an updated one yesterday or today. I added that in, but your comments do remain.
Well,
for-
so
Oh, I see.
the
You can see
bookkeeper
your
needs to
comments.
address the comments so that we can meet and get resolution on where these numbers came from, why they've been increased to this degree, the things that are, there's, somebody put cluster mailboxes in here. We're not allowed to spend government money, MUD money on cluster mailboxes. And there's an AG opinion, I sent it, it's written in here, take a look at that. So, yeah, this isn't ready, not even close.
But the mud board did replace the ones that were damaged, and there are others that are replaced, so we're only gonna replace,
You can't replace
Some-
any because the Attorney General has ruled that this money, this tax appropriations in a MUD cannot be spent on cluster mailboxes.
so when you were on the board for that, for the mud, for
I
the
trusted the
budget,
lawyer's
did you
advice.
get the money back that you spent?
I didn't spend it. The lawyer recommended that purchase,
You did.
and
All right,
because the
can
lawyer
we,
didn't know.
Can we agree to,
Yes. Get-
on our budget?
We cannot agree on what's here.
No, I'm not saying agreeing on the budget. An action, what is it that we're gonna do to look for, to get the budget together?
We need to answer all these questions that I have placed out here. Can you see them?
I can see the
Yes.
questions that you have placed there.
Okay.
Um,
Those questions need to be addressed, and then that will put the numbers in place.
So as we've worked in the past, the budget committee certainly provides input, provides information, and then we'll work with the budget committee and then bring this to the board for a final decision. It's up to the board or the committee, I guess, if they want to schedule another separate meeting from the board meeting next month in order to sit down and discuss, going over the budget again with the committee members. So more than happy to do that. There are lots of notes that can be shared. We were planning on going over that this evening, going line item by line item, but if the board doesn't want to, do that, and you don't necessarily have to, we could save it from the committee and then address that at the meeting in September.
Okay, any suggestions?
I would like to see the bookkeeper answer the questions in here that are financial in nature, like the maintenance tax revenue for 2025. It's exactly the same as 2024. We have our new tax rate, so we should know what our new revenue is going to be.
So I want to
set
hear
any
from other
tax rate
boards. So
already?
No,
should
it's
we,
Okay.
Kelly, I want to hear your input on, should we defer this to the committee and then come back? Or should we just have an open discussion and get this finalized?
I think that's gonna be really tough with our 2 hour,
agree.
and I think that the committee, the actual budget committee does need to sit down and go over it, and so I say we defer this to another time.
David?
Yeah, it's fine.
And of course, we'd be happy to answer all of the questions as to how we came up with the numbers. Putting the same exact number as a placeholder until we get the final assessed valuations from the CAD. And then, even then, we don't know for sure because until you set your tax rate. So, I didn't know if you're planning
We have the
on-
values in, we have the recommendation, but they won't set until the 11th of next month.
So we can take those assessed valuations and plug that in.
Yeah. it
I
would
mean,
be an
this is
estimate.
standard what we do at this point.
Right.
Nothing out of the ordinary. A lot of things are, if we don't have feedback from other consultants or we haven't been able to identify if there's any like automatic increases in a contract or whatever, then a lot of times we will use based on industry standards, either 3 or 5% increases for expenses, just because that's just typically, what we're looking at. But we have numbers here from your auditor, we have different numbers. So we have, some of these numbers we have from your consultants or from information we were able to get, or directly, like you said, the engineer has provided us with some information. This is a preliminary pass at the budget, and we, spent a good bit of time kind of working on it, also identifying, there's a couple of things I think we had to make adjustments for as to how some of the billing was for some of the detention ponds, to make sure that was all correct and that we had accurately coded everything in the correct place, just to make sure we didn't change that. And then try to do an implementation of what information we've received from your engineer for projected projects. So we still have work to be done.
Okay.
Again, this is preliminary, so.
So yeah, let's go ahead and defer. Do you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
I know that in the past years, we've had a separate meeting for just the budget so that everybody had their input on it. I think that that would be fantastic to be able to do that again. Just because anybody in the neighborhood that wants to hear that or see that of what we do spend our money on that budget, I think it's really important that we stick with that and we make it open for everybody.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and defer if we can get some answers from the document that Linda has put
Sure,
together.
we
and then if we can,
I haven't seen it yet, but I
Yeah.
can try to answer all
we
of
can
those
see
questions.
if we can get with Jacob on defining those capital items,
Mm-hmm.
priority items, and then once you guys are ready, we can then meet.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a
I
plan.
need you to give me a breakout
As long as
of
it's
the
okay.
priority items. or
Yep.
what you think we need to do.
All right, so then let's just go ahead and
I saw your list, but I need you to tell me what
do our
you
payments of
think
billings and invoices.
the adjustments that y'all did, that part. And then we'll work as hard as we can to go on this, but as long as it's really done.
So I would need a motion to approve the full amount.
Which is, what's the full amount, Lisa?
Well, it's everything that's in the report, all disbursements, and, I don't think that needs to be.
There needs to be a number in the minutes.
What's the number?
Total disbursements.
I would like to address that. It's 931-293.23.
293 what? 23?
Yes.
931-293-23.
I'd like to make a motion that we pass to pay the bills of 931-293.23 tonight.
Okay, I'll second that. Kelly? Linda?
Yes, in this stack is a payment to Infomark check 1283 for September services. I've been saying this for the last 6 months. Governments do not pay for services prior to receiving them. Today, I sent the government code to Cole for review to be certain I was correct about that. I am correct about that. You shouldn't pay for services you don't receive. So Cole, I would like you to please send that same information I sent to you to Beth and Hanoi, so when they review the bills and invoices, they'll know what they're looking at.
Sure.
Please also send it to Artesian so they can follow
Sure.
government accounting practices. Thank you. So we need to hold 1283. Also, check 1289 to Ranger Guard. We do not have a signed contract with Ranger Guard. We did not execute an agreement with them. We merely approved which proposal we selected. But the agreement has many mistakes in it that are not beneficial to the district, but beneficial to Ranger Guard. And I have annotated those in item 9F in the agenda. And check number 1296 for 1100. Kara, you have redacted customer names. We need to see those to compare them to the deposit receipts you have. And could you please clarify for me who's getting an $1,100 rate order adjustment, because we've already addressed all those.
Linda, I will forward the unredacted report to the board by BCC
Okay,
momentarily.
thank you. And also.
I'll include Mackenzie. Do you want her included so that she can add that to the Google Drive?
Sure, absolutely. Also, I noticed we don't have, again, the constable timesheets are not in the board packet, but I saw on this payroll detail report that you're paying them $65 an hour. I believe we agreed by a board motion 2 years ago. We upped their pay to $60 an hour. I will look for that motion for you to be sure that I'm right about that, but yeah, their pay has not increased in 2 years. But I will search that for you.
Linda, the check for the 1,100 is for one of the original deposit hand-delivered checks who never came to claim his. So we sent the last 2 back, and then he cropped up, Reese, correct me if I'm wrong, like within the last month and a half, and has finally responded
Yes.
and requested his
He
refund.
responded, actually, he's been waiting for the last 2 months, it got sent back, and then with the hurricane, it didn't get to be processed with Artesian, last month's board meeting, so he's been patiently waiting for this.
I do know that it's not 2 checks that got returned, it's 1, because I went and knocked the doors of both of those residents and asked them to come up here and pick up their checks.
Yes.
And you did have 1 of them.
No, I had 2 of them.
Okay, 1 guy picked up.
Yes, he picked it up, and
The
the other,
second guy didn't pick up?
yes, he picked it up. He went to the bank to cash it,
And they wouldn't
and
allow him.
it was
It was too
too old.
old.
Correct.
Yes,
It's too old.
So that is
Okay.
what that is
Okay.
for.
But the other guy's check cleared?
yes.
It was equally as old?
Well, yes.
It's usually banks, depending on where you go. Credit unions don't often take
Oh.
anything older than 90 days old, most of the time, so depending on where he banks.
So do we have to void that other check, the original check that was written to him?
Artesian already did that.
I don't see the void on it.
It's been,
I think it was a month ago,
it's been about 4 to 6.
since they avoided the original. Okay.
And actually, his name was misspelled, so we took
That
it
too?
that way. Yeah.
So those checks, Ranger Guard and Infomark, unfortunately, they put Infomark's base fee, that's the one you can't pay in advance. They put the base fee and the maintenance and operations together, so unfortunately, you have to hold it on.
Well, they can also reissue a check, and we can recirculate for signature, so.
Okay,
Should
so
we
I
wait
have
for the
a,
bookkeeper to
yeah.
finish researching?
So, range guard agreement. It is my understanding that we approved this at the last meeting, so why are we holding a check?
We approved that
I'm
selection
asking her a
of the
question. I'm
proposal.
asking her a question.
At your meeting last month, there were 2 proposals, or 3 items, 2 proposals in the packet, and when the board made a motion to approve that, it was the proposal in the packet, which is exactly the proposal that was signed. It's identical to the one that Cole has, that Linda has been working on with Cole. So it was what was in the packet, it's what got approved.
I wasn't at last July meeting,
Yeah.
I called into it, and the motion, I'm gonna see what the motion was, I have it. The
It's on the
motion-
minutes,
Yeah, great call. That's why we have minutes.
and it does say the proposal.
And I think the issue is that the proposal and the agreement were all
Are-
a single
yeah.
document. So it was like a
Correct.
proposal and an agreement for both of them. So I think when the proposal was adopted, I think some people took the term proposal to mean just proposal. Other people took the term proposal to mean the proposal and the agreement, the whole document that was there. So speaking on the Ranger Guard contract, it is executed according to Ranger Guard. I mean, I think there's ways that we could possibly try to get out of it, but it is executed. There were some errors and some items that I caught immediately, because I had it forwarded to me, I don't know, last week maybe?
I
or
sent
so.
it to you the day that I signed it.
The day that you signed it. So when I started looking at it, when you emailed me saying, what's the status of it? I went to pull it up to go see, to check on it and do some review work. It didn't have a term date or an expiration date or anything like that. I was able to get all those terms into it, plus some governmental statutes that you all need as a MUD to have in any contract that you work with. It's your no boycott Israel, no boycott energy companies, etc. I got all that stuff added in there. Also was able to work out some language about subcontractors. But, so what I'm trying to say is they've been willing to work with me to change some terms, but they were clear that their interpretation that this agreement was signed in July and approved by the board in July. So that's where we stand right now. So I think, Linda, you did email me with your comments, so I'm going to I just didn't have a chance to do those at the airport. I'm going to get in there and look at them. Probably can give you a call tomorrow after my morning meeting when I'm in the office, and we can go through, and I can try to reach out to Ranger Guard. I can try to reach out to Ranger Guard, and we can try to get that language included or adjusted, whatever it might be.
Well, Cole, did you look at that agreement before?
I did not.
Okay.
It was not looked at?
Yeah,
I did not see
So
that.
do we typically sign agreements that don't have an attorney's review?
I can't speak for the board. I don't know. I've typically,
You've looked at every
any agreement that goes through me, I review prior to presenting to a board any of my clients. I did not review this one prior to you all approving it.
But the agreement is missing a page.
What do you mean?
It doesn't, yeah, well, that's one of the things I noted in there. You'll see, we are not getting 4 hours a night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're not getting that.
It's 6 hours. It's 10 to 4 is the time that they're.
You're not getting that. You're getting 2 stops in the district. Read the contract. And look at their first invoice and it'll demonstrate it for you.
But we just changed it at the last.
Well, that means you're paying for them to drive through the neighborhood anytime between the hours of 10 and 4, 10 at night and 4 in the morning. But they're not in the neighborhood from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. It's a line.
The invoice states that dismounted patrol services 2 visits each on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 24th. And that was started on 8/9/24.
They split the schedule between 2 people, as far as I understand
No,
it.
it's not true. Tell by the hours on the invoice.
All right,
So that needs to be looked at, and that's why the attorney looks over agreements before we sign them, because I was under the impression it was exactly what we had before, 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. in the morning, and it isn't. It isn't even close to that.
But this indicates 21 hours total at a rate of 45, so. Again, I don't know. I mean, we're just.
There's no definition of what a stop is. Page 1 of the proposal that supposedly clarifies that, including the detailed description of exactly what they're going to do in the district. None of that is in there. It's written in the agreement, but it's not part of the package.
Some of your comments I had addressed previously, so let me get with, I think Haley is willing to work with us, because nothing that you've put in here commented to me screams
No.
breach or no. It's
Right.
kind of more of we can provide more information to clarify or add or beef it up if
We've
necessary.
learned in the last year that a bad contract results in bad service.
Yeah.
Cole, whenever I filled it out, I also put the hours in there
yeah.
specifically,
It says in the proposal,
because it asked me days of the week to select and hours to and from.
yeah, it says 6 hours per week.
Well, no, it should be 6 hours per Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then they do send daily reports, just as an FYI, and they give me pictures. It has,
See, this just says 2 hours Sunday, 2 hours Friday, 2 hours Saturday.
yeah, that's not, it should be from 10 to 4
That's why we
a.m. was
want
the
the
window I
attorney to look at
selected.
these agreements.
Right.
So the other thing with this agreement too is it wasn't like I got to write it in, it was drop down, fill in on DocuSign. And so that's all I could do. I couldn't.
Okay, let me,
All right, so
let me
we'll
jump
tackle that.
Are you guys say that?
And
Order, please. Can
Can
we
we-
not have such disruption in the room?
We're trying to work this out, so,
So everybody can get
The
paid.
bookkeeper needs to
Yeah.
remain seated.
so.
I asked for her.
Can we stop? Like, you're not presiding over this matter, so I'm gonna ask you to stop,
I did a point of order.
okay?
Did you hear me? I did a point of order.
I did, but you need to stop. Go ahead, David. You're done with your comments, so go ahead.
I got nothing, man. It's just calm.
Beth? Any comment?
No,
on a billing and invoices.
Yes.
Go for it.
One of these, this guy right here, I don't know how to say his name, that you wanted to pull for check 1296.
Wait, don't say the name, well,
I'm not. I
is it
just said
a
the
resident
number.
deposit one?
It's the guy that's been coming in every day for over a month. looking
Check
for his
1296
Oh, okay.
for $1,100.
Yeah, we need to get him paid. He's been coming in every day. I know that because I got a call on that. Yeah, we just need to get him paid off. So I don't know what the concern is with that, Linda.
I didn't ask to hold it.
Okay.
I asked who it was for. It's redacted in the packet.
And I'll let you speak
That's
about
the,
that.
yep,
Go ahead.
it's done.
Cool. Okay, get him paid. And then Lisa, do you want to resolve the last one, then everybody's been paid?
Yes, so I'll make a recommendation after talking to your attorney and talking to Infomark and just clarifying. So the $54,000 base fee, $54,263.20 is for September, and since it's services, we'll go ahead. Infomark said they're fine with pulling that out. So I'm going to take the entire check that was written for that base fee plus all the other services that have been provided and back that out, and that number will be minus the 54,263.20.
I'd like to make a comment on that check,
263.
the one that she, for Infomark.
16,729.70.
That's the services part.
That's the services part that have been done, and I can cut another check here now to pay that based on the invoices, but not the base fee for September.
And then the part that you're holding back, can you let us know what that is so everybody knows?
Holding back $54,263.20.
Thank you.
Okay, David, you have a comment?
Yes. If it wasn't brought to our attention by Director Fogg, we would have paid this. And this is another reason why I believe that Director Fogg should be on bills and invoices, because she double checks, she follows the law, and she does an impeccable job. So,
We are giving her ample opportunity
wasn't done, Steve.
to
Hold
bring
on.
out.
You're interrupting me, sir.
Go ahead.
I have time to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So, that is my comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Beth,
I'm not done.
you're not done?
No.
Okay. We have agreed to have 2-hour meetings, so do we want to continue to go over each of the invoices, or are we ready to approve?
We don't have
How
to
many,
go.
how many more items do you have?
2? 3? 2?
I think it's our responsibility to get these answers from the contractors and let the people know in the reporting why and what the questions are. The public has a right to know.
Okay, Beth, do you have a comment? Should we move forward with your, we've had plenty of comments, and we have a long agenda.
No, we're done. We just went through all the ones that we had issues with. And
Okay.
everything's been cleared up.
That is not true.
Kelly, do you want to hear the other two, or should we just move on?
Yes, let's hear the other two.
Okay, go ahead.
Charter Communications has been overpaid. They have now the same situation as CubeSmart because Infomark went ahead and used their credit card to pay a past due amount in May. So that vendor is now messed up in the accounting. Still missing is an Infomark credit invoice for the 120-day account in arrears. Should be a check in excess of $600. Missy Roberts, our operator, agreed to refund because they failed to catch a resident who turned on his own water and actually took water from the district for 4 months without paying. We haven't seen that invoice yet. Artesian this month billed for 2 separate meetings with Beth and Hanoi, but 1 meeting per month is covered in their base fee. So someone needs to watch that. because I don't know how many meetings you've had with them in July, but they're billing for 2 meetings plus the general board meeting with you and Beth.
But there were 2 different meetings for 2 different things.
That's great, but that 1 meeting comes in their base fee, and they're charging for it. So those kind of things need to be looked at because it happens quite often. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lisa?
Anything else?
Wait, Lisa has something to say. She had something.
I just saying that every board is different, and probably the majority of clients I have don't hold separate budget meetings. You all do, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think that's great, but if we're going to be able to participate in that, because last year we were not included in the budget meeting, and then what ended up happening was a director took that spreadsheet and completely changed it and removed all the chart of accounts, and then we were not able to implement that into our budget. So we have to be a part of it if you want us to be your bookkeeper.
This isn't a budget, this is about budget. We're done.
Do you mind if I finish?
Yeah, I do. I do, because you're not talking about the issue
Okay,
at
then
hand.
let's take a vote so she can finish annoying.
Well, you asked her a question, so can we let her finish?
So
That's
just
what I would like
answering
to do,
why
yes.
I'm attending the meeting, I'm not looking to try to bill you for additional meetings. We would be more than happy to do 1 meeting a month. You all are asking us you want to do separate meetings for invoices and for budgets. It is not typical in any districts. And so that's why the billing structure is the way it is, but it's the same it's been 30-something years. Nothing wrong with you having additional meetings. If you'd like to, just understand, we are only billing you for your time. We're not charging you another base fee. We're just billing you for the additional time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We ready to, you want to go ahead and restate your motion, Beth, so we can have that cleared? Do we have that cleared?
It's still the
Wanna
same
make sure.
amount, correct?
No,
No,
it's the
no,
amount.
no.
Well, that we are taking off, how much are we taking off, Lisa?
We're taking off $54,263.20.
54 what?
I'm
Thousand.
sorry, you want me to calculate? $54,263.20. That comes off of the $931,293.23.
20.
You had $877,030.03.
$877,030.03.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, so let's make an amendment on that.
Same number I
Say,
got.
Can we, I'm sorry?
Same number I got, correct.
Okay. Okay, can we please approve for tonight's meeting on the budget for $877,030.03?
Okay, I'll second that. We have had plenty of discussion, so can we vote on this? All in favor?
Opposed?
All right, engineers report.
Alrighty.
I said, take it away.
No problem. I sent a revised engineer's report right before the meeting, and there's just a few changes. But if you don't mind opening that, it's labeled as R1, engineer's report R1 with attachment. So the first item is in regards to our favorite hatch lift station project. S. Konetsky Engineering was the electrical engineer hired by Gray Engineering during the design, and part of their proposal had construction phase services. So I was able to get them involved. They went out to visit the site. They put together their own inspection report in combination with my punch list. And then they went back out and validated that the punch list items had been corrected. I went back out yesterday to verify what punch list items either remained or had been corrected. There was a handful of items yesterday that were flagged. I received photos this morning that all of those items have been addressed. There were small items like attach the no entry sign on top of the dry well and put some seals on some conduits, entries into the junction boxes. So With that, we have Liberty Civil's final pay application in the amount of $80,300. They have submitted all of their required documentation, their consent of surety, their affidavit of bills paid, and their maintenance bond for 2 years and 20% of the contract amount. Those documents were sent over to Cole. Cole looked at them and said that they looked good. So with that, I'd like to make a recommendation to the board that you approve payment of pay application number 4 in the amount of $80,300 to Liberty Civil Construction, as well as execute the certificate of final completion, which will start the maintenance bond process of 2 years, and we'll close out the project with Liberty Civil.
We have a motion.
I'll make the motion, and it was for 80,000,
$300.
make a motion to go ahead and pay off our final bill of 80,300. And again, that is for the final completion of the job that has been performed.
For what?
And that is in the name of the company.
Liberty Civil Construction.
Thank you. Liberty Civil Construction.
Do we have a second? Second. Do we need any further discussion or questions? And the punch list has been completed, correct?
Yes, sir. And in addition to that, Infomark had a couple of items that they sent over yesterday. We validated those items, were addressed in the field yesterday afternoon as well. And I sent a response just to kind of close that loop, so.
Awesome.
Great.
Anyone else? Okay, let's vote. All in favor?
All right.
You skipped over the rest of agenda item 2.
One second. Okay, do we have, I think we have to also approve, you mentioned about approving
Yeah. So if I can just finish this
the
part of my
certificate of completion.
report,
Yeah, go ahead
and
and
then y'all
finish
can go
yours.
back to 2 if you'd like.
Yep.
I mentioned S. Konetsky Engineering. They had a remainder balance on their proposal contract of $17.95 to cover part of their construction phase services. I can vouch that they did the work. They visited the site. They finished the as-built drawings. So I don't know exactly how y'all handled paying for the first part of their contract with Gray. If you paid Gray or paid S. Konetsky separately. From some of the correspondence that I thought I saw from Herb, it looked like he would submit S. Konetsky's invoicing to y'all and y'all would pay it. So I'm trying to just follow that path, but that $17.95 would close out the electrical engineer's contract as well for that project.
Perfect. So can we have a motion to approve and execute the certificate of final completion in the $1,795?
I will also do that we, tonight at this meeting, that we pay our final payment to Gray Engineering for $17.95.
That's not to Gray Engineering. he just did the motion.
S. Konetsky.
Konetsky.
Yeah.
Didn't you
It's
just
right
do
there.
the motion?
I didn't do the motion, I just said I need a
You
motion
need a
for
motion.
these two, for the final completion, certificate of final completion in the amount of, and the $1,795. I'm not doing the motion, somebody else can do the motion.
I move so.
Does he need to say the amount again or no?
No.
I'll second that, Dave.
Okay. $17.95.
All right, all in favor? Okay, go on.
Sure. Item B, I'm going to circle back to that. That's probably the longest discussion item. So if y'all don't mind, I'll close out the others. Item C, the status of the lead and copper rule revisions. We're getting really close. We've had a lot of communications with the TCEQ about kind of what they're looking to see. The short of it is they are okay with you submitting a service line inventory, even if there are areas that are unknown, which is good. That means we don't need to go dig up people's front yards tomorrow. So We're leaning toward, they're gonna send us a template as to, you have to notify those residents that are in the area of unknown service lines. So they're gonna send us a template letter that we'll look at and massage and work through with you guys about how to send that out. But my thought is, let's go ahead and we'll submit the service line inventory to the TCEQ before the deadline. We'll notify residents that live in the unknown areas, and then we will work to develop a plan per TCEQ guidelines for how to field validate those unknown areas. With that, there's an attachment 11, which is on page 33 of the PDF. That's the exhibit that kind of shows you the areas that are unknown, which essentially they're the neighborhoods that were built before 1988, when Texas passed legislation to not allow lead in your service lines.
Would you look up when the deed was sold from the developer to the resident, would that would qualify as determining when the house was built? Because I was looking into it today, and a lot of the houses were built or transferred over in 1988, 89, past that due date in our section. Do you think that would count as determining when it was built? Because this development was purchased, from my understanding, you purchased the property first and then they built the home once you pick the lot, pick the style of the house. So.
Okay, that's good to know. I'll double check with Maggie. She was doing that level of research on it. I know that she did look at some of that information. If it is that 1988, 89 year, that's kind of, did they deed it before they built, or did they deed it after they walked the site?
That popped into my brain.
Was the project grandfathered to allow it? I think if we could find any documentation that proved that, I don't know, the builder didn't do it. The TCQ does not want you to go out and dig up pipes. Like, they don't want you to do that. So if I can find any documentation that provides clarity, we can submit that and say that it's assumed that there's no lead. But as of right now, I don't think we have that. But
It's only the old side of Henderson Mill on this side.
correct.
The map clearly has properties that weren't built until 1990, my section. So I can see in your map that there's obviously way too many houses. And before you send a letter to somebody saying you might have lead in your water, we want to make sure that they're not in the danger zone.
Just to clarify, I was not proposing to send a letter or do anything yet.
I realize that.
We have ample time.
I
and
realize that.
we still have final reviews to do. But yes, thank you for bringing that
And
up.
I might have some paperwork for you from when I purchased my house.
Okay.
That might be useful. Maybe it'll take you to a file cabinet in the county record.
Oh, would love that.
I keep pretty good records, so I'll pull it for you.
Fair enough. I would love it. Anything else? I don't want to have to pull my shovel out.
And Park Forest was built in 1997 and 98.
Do you have a budget cost for completing this project? We gave you a not to exceed on this one.
Correct.
You're real good about tracking your own not to exceeds. I haven't looked at it.
I've
Know that we'll
done
need to
30
add
invoices
something
since
into
then.
the budget for this.
I'm sorry?
We'll need to add something into the budget for this.
That's correct.
So,
That's part of what I'll be marking up
okay.
and providing a markup to the budget, not just for capital projects, but task orders that have already been started, and that will extend over. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. I realize what?
We already, is that the same, you're asking for attachment to attach list station repairs, they have before?
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
All right, Jacob, keep going.
The last miscellaneous item, Sunchase Park Playscape. You can see the attached inspection report and transmittal. Everything's good, no violations, and your park is in compliance. So that's good news. And then we met with the Infrastructure Committee on August 8th. You can see those minutes attached. And if y'all don't have any questions on that, we can go back to item B and talk about the facility assessment.
On the Infrastructure Committee, Jacob, moving forward, I've covered the the plan that you put together. I think it would be a great idea if we begin to include Mackenzie in those, because there's so much that she knows that I don't know. And so I would like to have her included on those
Sure.
Moving forward.
No problem.
And so, yeah, just an observation on the infrastructure committee part. But yeah, go ahead and go back to your item 2.
Okay, so item 2, district facility assessment, asset management plan, capital improvement plan. We have kind of our first draft of those documents all compiled. They're in the Google Drives under attachment 567, so you can see it there. Maggie and I reviewed that document with the infrastructure committee on August 8th. And to be 100% honest with the board, Maggie has made some edits, but I have not had the time to get those reviewed and finalized. So what you're seeing is what the infrastructure committee meeting saw. And so I apologize for not having that completely revised and fleshed out for this meeting. It is still our intention to have it finalized by September. And I know everything that's in there, so I'm happy to kind of walk through it and answer any questions. But kind of the high level points, it's split into 3 components. So the first component being your facility assessment. We have a write-up paragraph or 2 for every facility that you have, whether it be your water, wastewater master meters, your water, sewer lines, storm lines, lift stations. We have kind of a written write-up that references picture numbers. One thing to note that's in this draft that will be revised, how we word it, we did confirm with Mackenzie that the master meters are owned entirely by Cedar Park. So I think it's good that we have kind of the existing condition documented, but we'll be removing kind of that cost from your capital outlay. So the first, let's see, 9 pages are kind of that write-up report, and then we've got photos of each facility after that. The one thing that we talked about with the infrastructure committee that we'll be rolling out in September is an executive summary, so that you don't have to read all 86 pages of this. You're welcome to, of course, if you have problems sleeping at night, but I plan on putting together an executive summary that will summarize, yes, the condition of each facility, the risk associated with each facility, and to help prioritize which ones we need to do, and how that fits in fiscal years. So we kind of have all of that information. It's just a lot to look through, which is good for the long-term file, but I plan on putting together an executive summary to help kind of drill that down. Your 2 other lift stations, you obviously just finished Hatch lift station, but your Sun Chase and your Dagama lift station are the higher priority items to plan for rehabilitation, so that we don't potentially walk into the similar scenario of something failing. They're not high risk. They're just something that, if we're ranking what we should do, those are going to sit towards the top. Let's see. On page, we documented kind of the condition of all the ponds and those facilities. I'm happy to talk about anyone in particular if y'all are interested.
Do you have a solution for the Vestiva pond?
Steve Pond. Let's go look at those pictures.
I'll just read your report first, how's that? It came so late, I didn't get a chance to read it.
You didn't read it all between like 4:45 and right now?
I tried.
Well, I appreciate the effort. We just noted that there was some, vegetation and sedimentation in the splitter box, and that some additional maintenance is probably needed there to clean that up, and that there's some fence damage there. But are you noticing something in particular?
It's always wet.
You're talking about the Cashel.
Oh, it's called Kesha wood, sorry. It's always wet.
I'll call it whatever you want. It's always wet. No,
61.
We've been talking about that pond for several years on why is it red.
Herb even went out there and looked at it. I went with him.
Yep, we did, we went out there and it was
So,
wet.
they've actually gone in and like regraded it multiple times, and it continues to stagnate and hold water.
Yeah, that's the one where the concrete's just poured over.
We also-
It's gonna hold water.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be done by
It's gonna be, I would assume, a pretty extensive repair to get it to not do what it does now.
Can
The
we
other
wait
thing-
until MOC's on board and then you work with Lonnie on that?
Regardless of the operator, we'll put a recommended solution and
Yes.
cost on it.
It's
I mean,
been
so
like
it-
that for 8 years.
But
Yeah,
it smells, the neighbors, the smell's problem.
It
does
also
bother
harbors
them.
mosquitoes really bad.
They've been bringing it up
Yeah.
for a long time.
so smell, odor, nuisance, mosquito nuisance. Okay. I'll take a harder look at proposing a solution there. What else? Any other particular items?
So how much do we need to have in reserve to meet your capital improvement plan?
That's the question I
That's a-
asked you earlier.
It's a great question for your financial advisor. At the end of the day, where we stand right now, the only two that I think you need to be financially setting money aside for within the next 12 months are the two lift stations.
And how much do you think we need?
No.
We've quoted about 500,000.
45,000.
Everybody's saying a different number. What do you think we need to have set aside?
So the way these numbers stand today, we're still in internal reviews, so don't hang
We'll
your
just
gun.
plug a number into the budget, that's all.
Yeah. But that's part of the thing. 336,000 total cost for lift station 2, the Gamma, 209 for Sunchase Boulevard. But what I want to caveat is that even if we started design on both of those in January,
Get it done.
you're not starting construction until next fiscal year. So there's a staggering of that cost in your budget. And one of the things we talked about at the infrastructure committee was taking, which if you look at the very last page, we have kind of this colored chart laying these projects out over time. I'm going to put depth dollars on that so that you can see fiscal year dollar amounts to plan for. And I think that will provide a visual answer to that question versus hiding it in a really long Excel file.
You're probably right.
All right, so general manager's report, are we ready?
I just have a comment on,
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was gonna jump in for the general manager.
I have a huge concern about the future of this district and the funds and how we allocate and spend funds. I think with this report shows that we're gonna have to spend quite a bit of money over the next couple of years repairing and maintaining our infrastructure. I think it would be very important to focus on the infrastructure, on the water system. I believe, and I've said it before, I believe that we are here for water. We've spent tons and tons of money on parks in the past 10 years. I think it's time to take a break on that and really focus on the infrastructure of this community. Once Jacob gets the numbers down on this chart, I think it would really give us a good indication on how much we have to set aside and just really watch our pennies and watch what we spend. And, $20 here, $100 there, it all adds up. We all do it at home. And I think we need to start saving for the future and having a good reserve for our community. So we are responsible, we take good care of the infrastructure. I want fresh, clean water for another 100 years would be great. So that's all I have to say on it.
Let me hop in there just to piggyback that. Yes, I agree with what you're saying. And I know right now John Bargansky is on the line. He is the district's new financial advisor. He's with Specialized Public Finance. If you look in your Google packets, you'll see the letter that he addressed to the board with his tax rate recommendation. You'll also see the two Excel spreadsheets that kind of give the breakdown. I mentioned before, you've probably seen it before with your other financial advisor, or at least last year when we did it, it kind of gives the values per each county, as you're aware, and how that calculation came about. So in terms of the capital improvement plan and everything like that, I do strongly suggest, once Jacob's able to kind of finalize the numbers, it's a little late in the game to put it into this year's tax rate, I would say probably, but provide that to John, so then John is able to take a look at it and see, because you're not going to be able to raise your water and sewer rates to a level to, pay for some of these projects. So that's where John will come in to help the district with a way to be able to finance some of these projects when you run into those years where you have larger expenditures, should that be necessary down the line if you're unable to build a surplus by then. So kind of with that, I'd like to turn it over to John. I don't know if he can hear me.
He's online.
Okay.
John, can you hear us? There. You're on mute.
Yes, I'm on. John Margansky, Specialized Public Finance. Sorry, I was looking at some other things. Are we at the tax rate discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't
board
mind.
members,
Are you okay
I believe within your
Go ahead, John.
board members, I believe within your packet, there is a letter addressed to you from me after looking at the district values from both counties, Travis County, Williamson County, and doing a calculation based off the average home values, average taxable values provided to me from those counties to see what the maximum tax rate the district could levy this year without exceeding the 3.5% rollback, mandatory rollback election. Just as a reminder, I know you've done this several years, but this is a two-step process. Today, we're just going to decide what we want to publish for notice. Next month, or at your next board meeting, you will actually hold the public hearing and levy your tax rate. And as another reminder, whatever we publish for our tax rate, we can always go lower than that, but we can't go higher. So my recommendation whenever we're looking at publication purposes would always be to publish the maximum amount that keeps us below that 3.5% threshold, knowing that next month we can have a further discussion and set another tax rate that may be exactly what we published or a little bit lower. But my letter states basically, after looking at the average taxable values provided by both appraisal districts, we could levy a maximum of 0.2733 cents, and that would keep us just below the 3.5% year-over-year average tax bill increase. If we went above the 3.5%, it would be a mandatory rollback election, so we obviously want to stay below that. But looking at the calculations, it looks like 0.2733 would be the maximum that I would recommend for a maintenance and operations tax rate. Happy to answer any questions regarding the tax rate.
I'm not seeing any spreadsheets in your attorney folder. Is that where it's supposed to be?
Let me see. I did put it in the.
No,
sorry, John. This is.
It's not for you. It's our Google
I'm looking
Drive.
for the spreadsheets because, John, what I really want to know is that the 2.733 tax rate.
Attorney's folder.
What is the revenue for the district in 2025?
Give me 1 second. I can get that for you. So we have a certified value. Type this in. Bear with me for 1 second, please.
200.
Linda, the spreadsheets are in the attorney's folder.
I'm looking for them, I can't. I'm not seeing them.
They're both in
They're
there.
labeled 2024 TNT.
Oh, I got it.
One stress and one
Okay, so certified values from each of the appraisal districts. Williamson County came in at $695,846,523. Travis County, $200,169,935. Adding those together, we have a certified value of $896,016,458. And using the 2733 tax rate based off of that combined value generates the maintenance tax, assuming 100% collections, at $2,448,833. 813.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure, 2 million. Let me back it up though, and ask this question. I don't know what your bookkeeper typically uses for a collection percentage. That's using, assuming 100% collections, but I can do 98% or 97, whatever traditionally you use within your budgeting purposes.
We typically use 97%, John, collection rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that maintenance tax levy would then be 2,375,349.
John, are you the one that will know which of our properties have not paid their taxes? Is that something information you have?
No, that is not something that I look at. Typically, the tax assessor collector. So that would be, if the county is your tax assessor collector, they would be able to provide that. There is an additional third party that I typically use on my other districts that speaks appraisal district and tax collector language and works with them to gather that type of information. But my shop personally does not handle delinquent taxes or anything like that.
Thank you.
So I mean, as John mentioned, I mean, I kind of put John under the gun there and also didn't mention about jumping up. On the agenda, it's 8E, F, and G. So as you all know, kind of the first step, and I probably should have talked about this first, but you have on 80 of your agenda, adopt a resolution declaring development status of the district. You all are a developed district. You all have been a developed district for the past definitely 2 years that I've been here, and I believe you've declared yourself a developed district for the past at least 6 years or 5 years. So I would ask after kind of I'm done to have a motion to adopt the resolution declaring yourself a developed district. What does that mean? John mentioned you're capped at a 3.5% M&O raise, so the tax bill can't go up higher than 3.5% from what it was the previous year on maintenance and operations only. As a developed district, if it does go above that 3.5%, it triggers an automatic rollback election, which most districts do not want to go through. And so, like John said, the M&O rate that he recommends is the 27.33. That keeps you under that 3.5%, so you do not trigger an automatic election. So it's a two-part process. You would consider this rate and you would authorize publication of that rate. Either my office or John, probably our office, would work to publish the tax rate notice in the newspaper, similarly to how we did it last year. And then at your September 11th meeting, if you recall, we reached out to you all to to move your meeting from September 18th to September 11th. That's going to be the meeting where you hold the hearing and formally adopt the tax rate. And so, right now, really, if you all have any additional questions, whether for me on the publishing side or for John on the numbers side, now would be a good time to ask. Otherwise, like I mentioned previously, I recommend getting the capital improvement plan over to John so he can kind of look at it and help you all, maybe even get with the budget committee at some point in the future. I know it's his busy season right now, so maybe at some point in the future, get the budget committee together with John, look at the capital improvement plan and kind of put a future plan together for the district on how it can raise some funds to pay for some of these upcoming projects over the next 4 or 5 years. So I'll shut up if you all have any questions.
I do have a question.
Sure.
This is less revenue than last year, but our expenses have not changed. And we have increased costs by adding hazardous waste pickup. So we know we have to generate revenue somewhere. How do we up the basic service fee on the water bill?
You just change your rate order. So the two general most common ways that districts generate revenue is by your maintenance and operation tax, as well as your water and sewer bills. So you would if you're not wanting to go over the 3.5% rollback number for a rollback election, if you fear that, the district would lose in that election, you would need to raise your water and sewer revenue, your water and sewer rates in the rate order to generate that additional revenue.
But I thought those had to be pass-through expenses. I didn't think we could make money off water.
You can. You can. So most districts charge, if it's a pass-through, they'll charge what they pay for the water plus 10%. If you look at a lot of fees in your rate order, there are fees that, the operator does for, just an example, reading a meter. It'll be the actual cost that the operator pays for reading the meter plus 10%. So, not saying that's the case here, but that's fairly common. So that would be the way to do it, is to raise those rates.
Thank you, my questions are answered.
Any other questions? If not, we'll back to you.
Get back to that. All right, if y'all.
I'd like to make a motion, please, before we go on to the manager's report.
Ready?
I move that we complete agenda item 2 before we jump to the rest of the agenda.
We complete agenda item 2.
And I hate to say this, before we do that, do you all mind just doing a motion on the tax rate sub so John can hop off the line?
Okay. So once, go ahead and do the
I
tax
wrote
rate
it
motion.
down.
Go ahead.
I move that, we're not adopting the tax rate tonight.
You're authorizing publication.
I move that we authorize the publication of the tax rate of 2.733 for 2025.
Okay. Coles, I also have that you've mentioned we have to do some sort of declaration in that.
Adopt a resolution declaring development as.
Okay. You want to include that in there?
You want a separate one for that?
You can say.
And including the status of a developed district.
Okay, I'll second that.
Thank you.
All right, do we need any further discussion, or should we go ahead and vote for that? All right, all in favor?
Thank you all very much. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Before we move on, can I make a
Sure,
motion?
thank you, Board.
that
I'm gonna
we
jump
move,
off.
Okay, good night.
Number 9 up right after this.
I think Linda had a
Linda had a
Different
motion
motion.
to
For-
go back to 2.
to go back to 2. So what do you,
Consent agenda?
No,
That's
I'm
agenda.
sorry, it was agenda item 3, the final item on
Right,
agenda
right.
item 3, the unclaimed property report.
okay? And you want to go over that?
I'd like to see the report. It was due in June 30th.
That's like,
Can we have,
do we need a motion for that?
No, I was just.
I just wanted to finish out this agenda item.
Kara, did you hear Linda's request for the unclaimed property report?
Yes. The records that we received from Infomark were not transferable. Therefore, we have balances forward. We cannot see customer names or addresses on deposit refunds. We have ordered the boxes from long-term storage so that we can try to determine what is due to the state. We've also talked to a representative from the state of Texas who understands there's been a big transition in bookkeeping firms and is waiving all late fees.
And what was this due?
So unclaimed properties is if there's, let's say, a refund check to a customer and they move and we don't get a correct forwarding address or something happens and they don't get that money. So they're due that money, but we can't get it to them. We've tried everything we can. So what we have to do is then file with, we do a report, unclaimed properties with the state. And we do it in the name of the person and the address we had. And then people are always encouraged to go online, if you've ever heard that before, go online and see if there's any unclaimed property, like a last payment, you overpaid on something and you do a refund. So that's what that is. And
Right, but
every-
when was the report due? Because you have to report it to the state every year.
Yeah, it was due in July.
No,
And so,
June 30th was the date.
by July. And so we're trying to get that report. So they're not going to penalize or anything like that. We're working on getting that as fast as we can.
And you've talked to them already, correct?
Yes, and that's what
Yeah.
she was saying, is we've
Yeah.
already talked to the agency, explained to them that because of how information was forwarded over, like we said, we got balance forward, so we have to pull all of the records that are in long-term storage originally from Infomark. So we're trying to work on that now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
I'd like to make a motion, please.
Go for it.
I move that Cole draft a notice to cure for Artesian to adhere to public finance laws and the district's timelines for reporting, including accurate and timely reporting to the board.
Second that motion.
All right, we have a second. Beth?
They've already reported it to the state. They're doing everything that they can. I have nothing further to say.
I just want to hear more, Linda, a little more in depth on what prompted this.
Yeah, but are you done with your comment, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my comment.
All right, go for it.
For the past 6 months, we have been getting missing data off the financial report. It is again that way tonight. No revenue shown for water collected, basic service fees. The reports are incomplete. For 6 months now, there has been something wrong with the financial reports each and every month, or things have been missing, bills haven't been paid, late fees have been assessed, Infomark's had to pay with their credit card and mark it up 15%. The only avenue we have to make a contractor perform is a notice to cure. So I have a list of things that Artesian needs to do better, or we need to consider replacing them, because 6 months is too long to not perform in a district this size with this amount of money.
Okay, are we done?
I am.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kelly. Nothing. Okay. Are we ready to vote?
Do you have anything to say?
I just totally disagree with what she's saying. I'm not in agreement with it. I think
I'm not either.
Artesian has done a great job, and we are getting better and better every month.
And the
So are we
fact that
ready to
you
vote?
reached out to the state, I mean, that's huge, so
With
thank
order.
you.
Order.
So we are ready to vote, right? All in favor, go ahead and vote.
All in favor?
Okay, motion fails. All right, moving on, can we do engineer report?
General manager?
General manager's report, sorry.
If you want to go to page 10 of my report, that's where your executive summary is located. Our streetlight survey was conducted on July 22nd. We did have one streetlight reported out, and Reese reported that over to PEC. They've issued a ticket for that. Your water accountability for the month was 96%. We were at 95 last month. I believe it, unless I have those numbers backwards. But again, trending good there. And then we had 154 letters mailed this month, 108 tags hung, but 9 disconnects concluded. We did not have any notable customer requests this month. The endpoint installation was at 276, and then I think, Reese, you might have an updated number.
We're up to 350 as of today.
As of today, 350. So we are trucking along there. They will be done and concluded by September 30th. We did have a broken irrigation lid reported over in Madeline Loop Pond, and we've asked Land Care to take care of that. There was an issue over at Anderson Mill West bathrooms reported, and we had a plumber come out and make repairs. The total amount for that was $639 for the flushometer as well as the vacuum breaker on the commode there. So that repair has been completed, correct, Reese?
Yes. Same thing.
And then as far as items for the board to consider tonight, Anderson Mill West Park, Park Protec has provided a proposal. We've put that in the packet tonight to repair the cargo climber and 2 of the cable rope horseshoe climbers. The quoted amount for that is $5,340.20. And this is part of the items that were found during the inspection process. So it's just taken him quite a bit of time to get a quote from the supplier of the materials. And then aside from that, I did check in with Dustin, and he let me know that this slide footing repair over at Anderson Mill was going to be completed this week. I will follow back up with him to ensure that that got completed. They're also working on proposals for 2 additional items. They've kind of had to go down a rabbit hole of the vendors for those items. The first vendor initially said that he could comply with the request and then realized he doesn't service Cedar Park, then sent Dustin over to a new vendor that he's been working with. So we will have more quotes forthcoming likely next month at the meeting. We do have a shredding request. This has been on the agenda for 2 months now. It's just not an item we got to. I put it in my report as well. It's also on the agenda. But this is something that our internal departments are going through our Veritrust boxes out in the Houston area. The district has 56 boxes with Veritrust over in Houston that we've requested approval for shredding. This is cash receipts and old billing records, but none of this is newer than 2013. All of this is records older than 2013 back to 1993. Cole, as far as a records retention policy goes, would they be okay to move forward with shredding?
I think so, but I'd have to check the Library of Archives.
Okay, well, that is one item that we're requesting approval for tonight, mainly because Veritrust is going up on cost of storage. So the district will see increased cost of keeping those records there if we do end up prolonging that. Aside from that, I don't have any further updates, so if y'all would like to entertain a motion to approve Park Protect's proposal in the amount of $5,340.20, as well as an additional motion to shred, that would be.
There's no Park Tech proposal in the packet, and we can't shred without a retention cycle from the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. You gotta know what you're shredding.
I can drop that proposal in, I have it right here.
I move that we approve the shredding request pending Cole's review of our retention policy.
I'll second that.
In the amount? Do you have that, Mackenzie?
There is no amount for the shredding. They did not give us a cost for doing so.
There will be a cost.
There likely is, but I would foresee it to be pretty nominal, a not to exceed of maybe $500 would cover you.
In the amount of not to exceed $500.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further comments? Beth?
No.
David? Linda?
Financial records have retention cycles of indefinitely, unless you know what's in the box. Shredding them could be destroying records that we are required to keep indefinitely.
They're cash receipts and invoices, correct?
From 1993 to 2013. The
That support
proposal.
financial reports.
The proposal is going to be in the folder in just a moment, as soon as Google will upload it. So if you'll hop out of the report, you'll see the proposal from Park Protect. And apologize, we had quite a few issues getting our report to save for some reason this month. I think there was some format throwing it off and it was not saving properly. It took us a couple of times. But that is in their proposal, and you'll notice that my amount is different than theirs. Mine is less the tax in that proposal. Thank you.
All right, so are we ready to vote? on
Who
shredding
who
request?
seconded that motion?
I second the
Okay,
motion.
thanks.
All right, so all in favor?
Opposed? What was the motion? Can you repeat it, please?
Motion to approve the shredding not to exceed $500 pending Coach Rowe's review of the records retention policy.
And who's going to look through the boxes?
I'm not necessarily that much. That's the only for sure answer.
Well, so we're just going to take their word for it?
They work for us.
We fired them because they don't
We
work
haven't.
for them.
We have not.
Yeah,
We have not
they're
fired them.
terminated at the end of September.
No.
Yeah, they are.
All right, can we move on? Motion has passed.
They are they not?
We are
You all
shredding.
issued a termination letter.
Yeah, we
yes.
did. Sorry.
Okay, and I would also like to make a motion to approve the Park Protect proposal for Anderson Mill West Park, various repairs for $5,340.20 as presented in their proposal in the packet.
Second.
All right, so we have a second. Do we need any discussion on this? Beth? No. David? Linda? Okay, all in favor?
I'm abstaining because the proposal was not in the packet for me.
All right, well, that concludes your report, right?
It does.
Thank you.
Can we move up? Can we make a proposal to move number 9 up to 6, please?
9 up to 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just after 8 o'clock.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, that looks like it's me, right? Okay, so agenda item A, the November director's election, including schedule the ballot drawing. So the ballot drawing is going to be on Monday. So I don't know if you all did it, or you probably did it last time, or someone did it on behalf of the district last time, but we have to do a ballot drawing for the candidates who are running. We have Carol Norrell, Linda, Cynthia Campbell, and Chris Rocco are the 4 candidates who we've received applications from. So what we'll do on Monday in our office is just do a candidate drawing. All this means is we just put 4 names, those 4 names, into a hat, and we draw them out, and we have to have a witness there to show them. So typically usually the way we do it is just someone in our office who verifies that we're not doing up any funny business. And that's the way the names will be on the ballot with the county when the election rolls around. So what we're going to do is with those 4 candidates, we will schedule that and have it in our office. If one of the candidates wants to show up and watch, sure, that's fine, but it'll be like a 5-minute process. Probably we could even probably record it and send it to you all if you'd like to do that to save a trip downtown. So that's really the only urgent, quote unquote, urgent item for the director's election in November. Once we get that done, we'll submit that to Travis County. They are going to be the county who are going to put on the election, or the county that you're partnering with for the election. So you'll end up getting an election services agreement from Travis County, and we'll start to get all the information to put on the district's website, as well as the agenda and anywhere else that you all want to put the election information on. So, any questions about the election, please reach out to me or Gabby or Tammy. Update regarding annexation of Anderson Mill Road. We're still working on the licensing agreement. Jacob and I talked about the exhibit to the licensing agreement.
I was literally finishing my review about 3 seconds ago.
Computer crashed. So the licensing agreement. So we're going to get an updated list of the facilities that the district will still maintain within the right-of-ways that the city of Cedar Park is going to take over or annex. City of Cedar Park has agreed to take over the maintenance and repair of the sidewalks, as well as all the mowing and all the grass and all the landscaping, except for flowers in front of signs and stuff like that. Any of the other district facilities, the CMU walls, hydrants, anything that the district currently maintains now or is MUD-owned can still be MUD-owned. So we're still kind of working on that. Once I get the exhibit, I'm going to forward it on to the City of Cedar Park. They're going to, of course, work it through their chain of command and look at it, and then hopefully we'll get another revised agreement to look at. Again, that agreement should be on the Google Drive, so if anyone has questions, it's been on there for months, please reach out. Let's not do it at the last minute, just because I know Cedar Park, well, to be fair, they said they were going to be on their September agenda, but I haven't seen their agenda, so I'm not sure. But that's where we stand right there. We're not moving forward until Jake was able to give his review and we're able to upload that new exhibit list into the agreement. Do you have a question?
I do.
Sure.
I understand Cedar Park held a public meeting about annexing that road. Did you get notice of that?
I did not get notice of it, but I know it was on there. I know it was on their fiscal year end schedule to start doing those things, yes.
And the updates that I have recommended to the agreement, you have looked at those?
Yes, yeah, and that's
what Jacob's working on?
Yeah, that's what Jacob's working on, because we wanted to update, because there's a comment in there that says, all the facilities will be maintained by the MUD.
Right.
That facility, that list of facilities is in the Exhibit A. So that's what Jacob, back in, I don't remember when, May maybe or April, walked all that area, took the photos of everything that the districts agreed to maintain. Since the time he took those photos and today, Cedar Park has agreed to take over all the mowing of the grass and all the maintenance of the sidewalk, so that will be off your plate.
So that previously was, they were leaving it to us, but.
Previously, and that was a comment
What caused the change?
that was a comment that Linda had brought up at the initial agreement was a pretty standard blank canvas agreement they've given to all the counties and neighboring districts. And so when we had our meeting with Cedar Park back in February or March or so, a long time ago, that was a comment that Linda had brought up was essentially, I mean, it was probably more eloquent than this, but if we're going to give you something, you should do something for us. And so one of the big items was, why don't you all take over the mowing of the grass and the sidewalks, and they agreed to do that.
Yeah, my understanding was that was what was discussed in the meeting, the paperwork came back, then it wasn't in the paperwork that we were gonna maintain that maintenance, and then Linda brought it to your attention and saw and found it, and then you brought it back to Cedar Park, and now they are taking over. So,
yeah,
Well,
so
is that
they
correct?
did amend to agree to mowing, but what's still wrong with that contract is they want us to irrigate, they want us to trim
Right.
trees, they want us to do all that
So
stuff in the meeting.
The reason I say it is, once again, Linda found something, brought it to our attention, and I just want the public to know that this is something that Linda does well, is bring up issues and things that arise, and she's really good at it.
I will disagree. I don't think they want us to do anything with the trees or the grass or the irrigation. I think they're taking over full maintenance of the grass and the medians and any area that they are annexing that's grass and not listed on that facility sheet.
It's on the sheet.
That's why he's updating.
That's why he's got it.
Right, that's why he's updating.
Or was updating.
Yeah, I'm hoping all my notes from this whole meeting are.
Badger Meter, we have reached out to Badger Meter a few times. They are issuing the district a credit. They've been overbilling the district for, I believe it was the endpoint. So we kind of have been pinging them every 2 or 3 weeks asking for an update. It's in their accounting system. Hopefully, I'd like to say hopefully get it soon, but hopefully you'll get it by the end of the year.
You realize we have not paid them in 19 months, so we have not overpaid them, we owe them.
Well,
Well, we don't know that because all that they have billed you for is incorrect. They have to go back and reconcile the invoices in their own system, which is what we keep following up on and asking for an update. And then they're supposed to provide us with new updated invoices for the entire time that we haven't paid. That's when we'll determine what we actually owe.
Yeah, the invoice that triggered it was $3 per endpoint, when our agreement was 89 cents per endpoint. But we still have to pay, according to you, Mackenzie, you told us after possession of
After
6
6
months, we had to start paying. So we still owe them because we paid nothing in 19 months. Guaranteed we owe them. We need to figure out what it is.
that's what they're working on. They're going back and, because they've come back and said, I believe this issue started before I came on, and it was kind of the back and forth about
Whether there was an agreement or not.
Right, and there is an agreement, it's just they've been billing you
Okay, our agenda, it's
incorrectly.
8:09, can we move on?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Waste management for hazardous waste pickup, there's a copy of that amendment in your board packets. We got that, I think, late yesterday, but it's in your board packets. You all can look at it. It's a pretty standard waste management amendment, and I believe the amount is also listed. I know the amount is also listed in there, I just don't have it memorized. And then the Infomark letter regarding Hatch Lift Station, we could discuss that in executive session. If you all want to do that, that would be my recommendation. And the roving patrol contract we discussed earlier under the accountant's report, I believe.
I got a question about the road patrol.
Sure.
Who signed that agreement?
I did after the board approved it.
Have we ever, I thought all agreements like the waste management agreement and any other agreement is the board members that sign the agreement, that they are the authorized recipients, or they are we are in charge, right? We are the ones that sign those agreements. How is this any different? And did we give Mackenzie authorization to be the representative of the MUD for that?
I can't speak to that. I can say that typically boards will sign the agreements, but there are scenarios in which there would be an agreement and a board authorizes a consultant or someone to sign on behalf of the district. So whether you all discussed that,
Did we discuss that and did we vote on Mackenzie being the authorized agent of the district?
Haven't we always had you do
I've
that?
always been a
Yes, she's
signing
always done
authorized
that.
agent of the district. That's why TCEQ accepts my signature on the annual
So,
report.
okay.
Not on service.
Okay, so in a month or two, who is gonna be that person?
New operator?
Our new operator.
I mean, David, just to explain to you, I have an agreement with ADP that I engaged in to provide services for providing the payroll for you guys. So it's not an agreement that you guys signed, I signed with them, and they provide services.
This is
and
common
it's part
sense
of a third
agency
party.
law. We have agents that act on our behalf to do this
Right.
kind of stuff, so I don't know
Right.
what the deal is. We've already approved this. Can we move on? We have 20 minutes left for this meeting.
She's always
I'm
said
done
that.
unless anyone has any questions for me.
That's it, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion.
Go for it.
I move that all agreements for this district be reviewed by the attorney before anybody signs.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Any comments, Beth?
I just, I'm thinking about that, thinking that over the past 5-6 years, this has always been done the way that it's been working. We've never had any issues before. I think this is a control thing. I think that everything is working great. That's why we hired them. That's why we trusted them, and I'll move on.
Okay, David?
Yeah, I think it's wise for the attorney to review any agreement that we engage in, because we are on the hook for that agreement. And if it's not reviewed by the attorney, we can have a bad contract and it will cost us money, so I agree with that.
Can you restate your motion, Linda?
All agreements be reviewed by the attorney before they are signed.
Yeah, I don't know about that motion. I think we have to ensure that we authorize the attorney to review this agreement if necessary, but that's my opinion. So you are welcome to comment.
Yes, I think this district has engaged in some horrific contracts with termination of lengths of 6 months. This service agreement with the roving patrol wants 30 days. Why would you need, in a right-to-work state for a service, why would you need to give them 30 days notice? If you no longer need the service, you should be able to cancel that service. So this agreement, and again, this agreement is not for 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. It is 2 stops in the district on a Friday, 2 stops on a Saturday, and 2 on a Sunday. We don't know where they're going, what streets they're traveling.
Are you so you're referring to something specific?
I'm giving that as an example of a
Okay,
contract,
got
why
it.
it should have been reviewed first by the attorney.
Good. Kelly?
Yeah, it's common sense. To have the attorney review.
Okay.
But we're gonna start paying more for that.
It's common sense, a contract is a legal document, and that's why we retain an attorney to give us legal advice, so.
I have no issue with that. It's totally fine with me, but I do want to add that your prior contract with USDFPS also had a 30-day termination notice, which was the prior roving patrol company.
I don't have an issue with that.
And I'd like to point out the agreement with ADP takes the responsibility off of you. That's not correct, where you're not liable and you don't have that responsibility. I bear that responsibility. So if ADP were to make an error or do something wrong, then it's on me, and I have professional liability policy up to $2 million. So that agreement is not one that you're liable for. I am. And arrange it through a third-party agreement, which was in part of your contract.
And just to be very
Just
clear,
a
I don't
clarification.
ever sign an agreement without a board vote, which is why it was not signed prior to the board voting and approving the exact proposal that was in the packet last month.
Well, that's what I mean, it was already approved, that's why you signed it. That's the way it's always been.
We have
So are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All in favor? I'll abstain. And my reason is I think we ought to consult first before you review, go on a 30-page or 20-page contract. I think the board needs to first approve that. make it an automatic process. But again, that's just my view. Go ahead. Beth.
No, that's how I felt too. If we've already talked about it in a board meeting, we've already discussed it, we approve it, we move it on to the person that's gonna take care of it, and it gets signed and moved on. That's how it should be.
The motion passed.
All right, so moving on to the next agenda item. Okay, we're done with general manager's report. So item 6, back to item 6, committee assignments and reports. And we'll start with park committees. Committee.
We don't have anything, we approved these proposals.
Deed restriction committee, including status of deed violation complaints.
Okay, we had 2 complaints this month. There were, the photos are in the folder. There was a complaint at Peppergrass Trail. I guess there was a fire at this residence and they moved a bunch of stuff out on the lawn and it is really bad, as you can see from the photos. We were prepared to recommend moving forward with a letter and possibly even contacting the health department due to the nature of hazards. But when I drove past this morning, it had been cleaned up. There's a dumpster. I took those pictures and loaded them to the packets, and you can see, so we don't recommend any action on that at this time. There was also a complaint received about someone on Blazing Star Trail with chickens in their backyard. It was well, first of all, I want to say Hanoi has recused himself from this conversation, so I'm presenting my opinion and not his. But the complaint was rather general. It had a list of health and sanitation concerns that don't really find any purchase with me, because a lot of those same complaints can be made about cats and dogs if you're really thinking about it. Additionally, most of the major cities in Texas allow the keeping of backyard chickens. Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and many, many, many millions and millions of people who live in a jurisdiction where they're allowed to keep backyard chickens. So that clearly would not be allowed if it was a health and safety concern. It is a violation of the deed, but then it comes down to us to decide whether that violation is affecting the taxable value of the district, and in my opinion, it's not, so I don't recommend any action. Right? And I so move.
So, if I understand correctly, a complaint that, of a deed violation that, so you're not going to follow the policy because you don't think it impacts the taxable value of the property? Because this violation exists in every deed across the district. There is no exception for it. Cedar Park doesn't allow chickens.
Yes, we do.
Well, not this area doesn't. I mean, it isn't.
2 acres is what Cedar Park, but that is neither
But-
here nor there because you're misstating the fundamental of the law, the water code, which says that we may enforce
Right.
deed restrictions to the extent that they affect the taxable value of the district.
Can I say something?
Not yet, I'm still talking. But we sent a letter, there's a procedure for this, and the first step is a letter to the violator. And if you're sent a letter for health and safety ants in a yard, but you don't think chickens, there's science that proves that chickens can cause disease.
There's science that proves that cats and dogs can cause disease, and you petted my chicken and you didn't complain about it. I'm about to lose my temper. So yes, this is Linda's complaint. Linda complained about Pinoy's chickens.
And I would like to add that you had.
Point of order, Beth.
No.
Point of order, Beth.
She's out of turn. so-
All right.
So are
also
you.
want to
So
say
here's-
that
So here's the
It's
thing.
illegal what you
No,
did.
no, no, you,
I
Hold on
filed
a
a
minute.
complaint.
you did file a complaint and she gave you an answer.
Right. Now, I filed a complaint, and we have a policy, and so Kelly doesn't
Okay,
think it
can we
impacts the
vote? Can we
value.
move on and vote?
I want to say
I do
something
not want
about
to
it.
be,
I get to say something.
Okay, go ahead, Beth.
That one day you had David, like you used to do to my house, and harass me.
Point
You
of
had
order.
Dave, no, it's not a point of order.
It is a point of order
Because
if
what
you're
you
not
did is
following the
illegal.
Point of order.
You had
Point of
somebody
order.
climb
Can we,
Hanой's
can we-
fence, which was a director.
Can we
It's not
agree
funny.
to move on? It's 8:20.
I realize what, no, you had,
Can we
you,
stop right now?
you need
Point
to
of
know
order.
that you asked the
Beth,
director to take those
please,
pictures.
let's
Point of
just
order.
move on.
That's why,
Let's
you
just
need to let the public know
move on.
that you are asking directors to do that.
So this is, what do we do? Do you want to,
I make a motion that we take no action on either.
Thank you.
there's a motion with no action.
We need a
I'm
second.
gonna not be involved in that because I've made a promise not to. Do we have a second?
What was it?
I move that we take no action on the two complaints.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. I think we've had enough about this, so let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
What's- I don't know what the motion is.
To take no action.
on the
To take no
two
action.
complaints.
I think we should take action that David climbs public, that's
Okay,
private
can we not, can we
property.
stick to the
Point of
agenda
order.
item? So we have a deadlock decision, we have 2 against, 1 in favor. I'm gonna decide to move forward to the next agenda item. All right, so
Excuse me?
Information Management Committee. Do we have an update on the Information Management Committee?
For getting on people's property.
Do we have information on Information Management Committee?
You want me to record that too?
Thank you. So I need to, my attorney.
Uh,
Can you update us? Honor?
Excuse me,
Have all the police
can you,
reports on that.
hold on, she's gonna do the update. Do you want to do an update on the Information Management Committee?
Don't touch my stuff. Do not touch my phone.
And do not record me.
We're being recorded right now.
Point of order, are we gonna get a
Okay,
status
can
or
we
not?
get a, yep, let's get an information on the Information
Ask
Management
him to turn
Committee.
that off, please. You're the president.
Okay, can you turn it off, please? Let's not record. Why are we doing this? It is recording, but why is he recording her?
I have no idea what
Okay,
difference.
right
it
now, I make a motion to remove David from this meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
What am I doing?
Okay, motion fails. Beth, can you give us information on, okay, so we will then move on to give the information. Information Management Committee, we have reviewed all elements of the website to make sure that we are in compliance. And so we have done all the updates that are required for now. That's all I have. Okay,
I'd like to make a motion.
go ahead.
I move that we remove Hanoi and Beth from the Information Management Committee for failure to perform the duties of this committee for the last 2 years. And with a second, I would give you
Sure,
the
do I have a
reasons.
second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Can we, do you want to discuss further?
We've updated everything that needed to be updated.
Okay, great. David?
Not at the moment.
Okay, I agree with you. We have gone through the website, we've consulted with our group.
And we've also reached out to Touchstone, who verifies what you governmentally need to have on your website. There were 3 updates that they provided, and we have provided those updates to the website.
Yep. And we've also touched base with our attorney. So
Correct.
that's all I have.
My turn.
Sure.
The items that are not enforced are still not updated on the website. That is incorrect. And
Reported
the
those.
board attachments to the board meetings are not correct. They're not all active. So that's not accurate. And that's as far as I got to look because I was busy catching up on everything.
Good. Kelly? All right. So we have a motion and we have a second and we're ready to vote. Can you restate your motion?
Remove Hanoi and Beth from the Information Management Committee for failure to perform the duties of this committee for the past 2 years.
Excellent. So we have a motion, we have a second by David. All in favor, raise your hand. And the motion fails.
We had 3 opposed?
Yeah, I
Two
didn't get a-
opposed. You and David.
No, we voted for it. Does that mean you, Beth, and Kelly are
Three opposed,
opposed?
you're right, yep.
Like to know who's opposing good business.
I get it, yeah. Good for you. All right. D, review committee assignments and create working committees as needed. And I think we've, anything else on that? Beth? Kelly? No? David? All right, moving on. Old business. Discuss account status and repair by property owner on Black Sherry Drive. So, anybody else?
There have been no repairs,
I have
nothing
no
has
update,
happened.
yeah.
And this man has not paid his taxes in years. He's on.
Taxes?
Yeah, he's not paid his property taxes in years.
Is he on the, oh, he's gotta be on the delinquent tax list.
It's public information online. So this is the property that we waived almost $5,000 in deed violation fines because we were assured he was going to repair his property and then sell it. But that promise was not true because he's done nothing and we've already waived those fines. So maybe it is time to start over, and if, of course, if it impacts the taxable value of the property, his house is in disrepair, then maybe it's time to reverse what we did.
Cole,
Would you like to make a motion?
if I may, I've spoken with Mr. Stewart a couple times, and his wife was just in a severe car accident, and she's been in rehab, so he's been dealing with that for her car accident. He's been over to the home a couple times to cut the grass and stuff, but he's unable to work on it at this point because of taking care of the wife right now, so. That's all I have on that.
Thank you, Reese.
Thank you.
All right, security deposit refunds. It is 8:28, we have 2 minutes left.
What's the status of it?
Which refunds are we referring to? The ones that were all over 1,000?
Nope, the next batch.
That was to be worked out after the onboarding process of the bookkeeper, and then I believed you were gonna go through the report, you had stated you would, and then you would ask or determine the best manner of, refunding them back, whether that be via a check or credit to the account.
But I need a good report of the security deposits, which leads to item C, the 80 accounts with 0 in their account.
You had mentioned that last month, and I went back to my emails, and I couldn't find anything where there was an email on this.
That's from 2 months ago, and you'll find it from Missy Roberts to me. The 80 accounts that have 0 deposit amounts on file, what happened to those deposits? Before we can do any more refunds.
Since we're out of time, can we move this in next month's agenda?
We can, and I'll look into it and get a better update and come back to that.
Okay.
Okay, we are out of
Excuse me,
time.
I just need to correct the record. Something was incorrectly stated a moment ago. The property on Black Cherry has nothing owed for taxes. The total due is 0, and the past year's due is 0. So the taxes are being paid.
Good. All right, so time is up. What do? Do we want to extend or do we postpone all of these pending items? Is there anything that needs to be talked about?
I'd like to make 3 motions.
I say it's 8:30.
Related to which agenda item? It's 8:30, so we need to stop.
7, C, D, and E.
take a vote.
Yeah, but we need to take a vote to extend time.
Okay, I make a motion that we extend the meeting by 15 minutes.
Okay, so we have a motion, do we have a second to extend the time by 15 minutes?
Second,
Okay, we have a second. We're ready to vote.
can I have a comment?
Okay, comments, Beth,
We said 8:30, and that means 8:30.
David,
I think we voted and we ran for this position to do the business of the district, and the extra 15 minutes are not going to kill us.
I'll abide by the majority decision on ending our meeting at 8:30, so that's all I have to say. Linda.
The reason to complete these last 3 items is Infomark is done in this district at the end of next month. This is the last opportunity to get them to give us this information before they depart. Since you've already paid them for the month of August, the only leverage we have is their September base fee, and they need to provide this information before we dump these problems on the new operator. And that would be for Agenda 7C, D, and E.
Kelly, you want to extend the time, or?
We waste far too much time. We have not been efficient with our time. We could have done better, we could have gotten to it. Maybe next time, we can get to it if we make better decisions.
All right, so can we vote? Then on Linda's motion to extend 15 minutes. All in favor? Okay, motion fails. And before I adjourn the meeting, Cole, can you, for our next agenda item, re-engage Infomark under the current contract terms? And number 2, provide notice to MOC that we are not moving forward with the operations RFP decision. Those are my 2 agenda items for the next meeting. And I motion that we adjourn this meeting. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? Let's go home.